Hey chat, how we doing today? Uh, while I was off stream for yesterday after being at the doctor's office for God knows how long, I gave Nightbot a little, basically a remedial course. Now, hopefully it should stop pinging people who have been using like more than 3 emojis in a message. Like, I haven't gone the time, nor do I have the know-how on how to get StreamerBot working correctly. So I've just elected to just give Nightbot a remedial course for a little bit and just hope that suffices for now until I can figure out how the hell StreamerBot works. Alright, so tires. Got around this last time, but I'm not too fond of the way this is looking at the moment. Okay, I do actually have the image still. So, Windows, in their infinite wisdom, have decided that all of the tabs that I had open for doing this particular thing. Let me just quickly. Uh, Thanks, DuckDuckGo, but I'm not looking for the definition of a week. Need to get back to where is the tire number 8. Yep. Yeah, so Windows decided in their infinite wisdom that their update was more important than the stuff I had open on my computer. So even though I still had some documents open last night, they decided that they were just going to reset the entire thing. So now I've lost a couple of things. I'm kind of pissed, but thankfully most of the stuff I write is on Obsidian, so it auto-saves. So, just quickly, I want to switch back to this for a minute, because I want to get this going. Like, I want to have this be an actual thing. What's going on? I'm sorry. Excuse? There's just a random thing sticking out here. Okay, first of all, Blender doesn't like when I do that. Fair enough. Second of all, huh? How did this happen? That's not coming from there. What is that coming from? There's just a random. When I set it to this, it basically just does a random edge from here to here for no reason. And when I go into edit mode, it's non-existent. It's still there even. Oh my god, it was hidden. Oh, you jerk. No wonder I was having shading issues. Hell with this software sometimes. Anyway, join. No. Fill those in. Subdiv that. Fill these. Okay, now if I turn this back on. Oh, that is so much nicer. I have no idea how I managed to hide a vert like that. That's impressive even for me. Anyway, that's beside the point. So I want to try and stick this onto a circle. What's the radius of an average tire? Tire radius. Okay, there is a way to possibly tell. I'd have to see the markings on the side of it though. It does not appear that this one in particular actually has markings. That is fairly inconvenient. Also, I was just checking to make sure my microphone was on because I wasn't entirely certain. Okay, so this thing doesn't have any of the like the manufacturing information on the sides of the tire. So what that tells me without a shadow of a doubt is that we're looking at something fairly large. Actually, no, it's not. Hang on. So I'm looking at this right, chat, and I've just realized something. These are tiny ass tires. Because I'm looking at the background here. I'm seeing paver blocks. I'm seeing, I believe those are caster wheels on a, whatever it's called, a barbecue grill. So those are caster wheels for a barbecue grill. These are bricks. These are fairly large compared to the actual tires themselves. Like the pebbles on the ground. So this is probably a toy truck tire. If I had to take a guess, it's probably from something that... So... These things, where are they? So stuff like these. With like, the ride-on toy cars. In fact, this one looks fairly similar. So we're looking for tire sizes roughly in that range. I don't know how big those tires are, generally speaking, though. Also, this is shockingly detailed for a tire like that. So either this is a tire used for one of those ride-on toy cars, or this is a trolley tire. And I know this isn't a trolley tire because trolley tires always have the manufacturing printed on the side like a regular car tire would. Because if you overpressurize those things pop and they hurt when they pop. Your ears, mostly. If you're anywhere near them, though, I imagine they would do a bit of physical damage. So we're probably looking at something roughly similar to this sort of thing. So we're looking at probably like a RV type of ride-on car here. Probably not a Lamborghini. I'm not going to look for specific models, but at least I know that these are things. Probably closer to like these sorts of models here. So, a rideable four-wheel drive. How big are the tires on these things? Suppose I can help Walmart and have a look-see. So, patience, product dimensions, doesn't really say. But if we're looking at the general size of one, it's probably... Let's say this thing has roughly about a... wheel. Rideable toy I wonder if I can find... Okay, right on toy sizes. So, probably looking at something around about 12 volts. So that's battery size. That's not wheel size. I'm looking specifically for wheel size. Actually, what I can do is I can get the general height of one of these things, and then I can... Probably about 1/3 would be the height of the wheel. And then I can just calculate from there, most likely. Alright, back to Walmart. I'll just put this on screen so y'all can see what I'm doing. So let's base it around. Where is it? Hey, just here. Yeah. Let's base it on this one here because this seems to be roughly around about the size. So we're looking at height. So that's 31 inches. Ah, okay. No, it actually says right here. That's really helpful. So 14-inch wide wheels. So width. Circumference. Actually, I probably don't even need to calculate width circumference. I just need to probably use circle. Most likely to be better. Well, actually, if I'm using a curve, I will have to calculate this. So So if the diameter of this is 14 inches, so the radius is okay. I forgot that was a thing that Windows could do. It's like one of my least favorite features. Like, it's a favorite feature when you're in school, but accidentally shaking one of your program windows, even like mildly, just destroys everything, and I hate that. Like, a little bit annoying. Okay, don't need that. And where's my calculation? Here it is. So the radius would be 17.78 centimeters. So RY 90. Now I need to scale this down. Probably even a bit further than that. Now, what I can do is I can throw on an array. I'm going to do this by fit curve using this. So this needs to be 60 Bezier. Okay, I think I might have missed an important factor here when sorting this one out. We'll see. Oh, good lord, what have I done? Why? First of all, why is it like that? Chat, I think I might have goofed. I forgotten how this specifically works. So what about fitting a link? Okay, nope, definitely not. Why? Okay, that doesn't work either. Why is it... Maybe I need to curve modify this. It would help if I, you know... Okay, there we go. That's a bit better. So now we want the deform axis to be... Z? Flipped? No. Okay, definitely not Y, that's for sure. Actually, hang on. This probably needs to be further up. Okay, now we can faff about with this. So Z is technically correct. No, it's not. Other way around. So... why is this all of a sudden doing this in the middle here? It should have been. Oh, it's because the array modifier. I'm dumb. Okay, so now I can set this to be curved. Did I apply everything correctly? There we go. Now, if I... do this... now, one of these is going to have to provide me with a solution. Negative x, negative y. Okay, here we go. Negative y. And then using an array modifier along curve. Set that to 0. Set this one? No. Do I want object offset for this one, possibly? Okay, definitely not object offset. So, if it's not object offset, then how do I wrap it around the curve? What happens if I rotate this? Oh, Blender doesn't like it is what happens. Okay, needs to be wary about that one. Okay, so that works. That doesn't. That does something funky, but it's not really what I'm looking for here, you know? So if I set both of these to be... alright. Not what I was hoping for. So object offset doesn't work here. Going that around won't help. I mean, like, it's a good start. I just wish I knew why it wasn't doing the thing that I wanted it to. Oh, I don't know what the hell I just did, but Blender did not like that. Oh, whoops. It crashed again. Whoopsies. Okay, yeah, Blender, could you just, like, stop shitting yourself for a second? Thanks. Alrighty, anytime today would be nice. Thanks, Blender. Come on. I'll give you a biscuit if you start working. There it is. Alright, let's, just recover this. Let's try that again without this time, sorting those like that. I'm gonna see what happens if I put those above that. So wait, if I put this above the thing. Oh, so that's why it got salty. Yeah, that'll do it. So apparently Blender doesn't like it when I do that. Okay, there we go. Apparently it gets really salty when I do that. So that's a great start. Now I need to... Actually, hang on a second. Where is my stats? Okay, I don't know why my computer's getting so upset over this thing, man. With only 2 subdiv levels, that should only be 400,000 roughly, so there's no reason why it should be this salty. Alright, time to edit this a bit. So, delete the faces on this. Delete these. So the idea is to get them to connect to each other. So if I turn all of these off, and then set origin to geometry, never mind, because I forgot that was the thing. So what I can do is I can just affect the origin locally instead. Roughly around here looks good. So... And then I Alt-G this. No. Alt-G the entire thing. And then turn these back on. It's a good start, but it doesn't seem to want to gel correctly. I wonder why that might be. Maybe the array needs to be slightly further back. I mean, 0.1 is fine. Like, 1 is fine, but 0.95 perhaps? Okay, those are starting to overlap. That's fine, I guess. Let's try 0.96. Okay, other direction. 0.94. Now I can have a look from the underside and see how far it's overlapped by. In low. Hey Foxy, how you doing? Right, so I do that. It is a little bit janky. If I re-add these. There we go. Now we have somewhat of a tire looking object. Okay, I'm gonna on cage this probably. Show it in edit mode. Okay, so as long as I don't show the array, yeah. I'm looking up more mods. Okay, nice. I'm gonna remove the on cage for the mirror modifier as well. I don't know why it's showing as on cage when it really shouldn't be. Anyway, beside the point. Foxy, I have added a couple of things for you to play around with too. Well, by a couple of things, I mean one specific thing. I've added the ability for you to add markers to the stream in case I say something stupid and you want to make fun of me later. If you do, I believe it's exclamation point marker or markers. It should be able to do that now, hopefully. Now, I do seem to be having a little bit of problems here. Okay, yeah, there you go. So now, the idea is I'm thinking of doing shorts at some point. So the idea is, like, if I do something or say something silly in stream, you can mark it and I can go back later and make a clip of it and put it on YouTube or whatever other platform. That's the idea anyway. Whether or not it actually works is an entirely different thing. So if I extrude this down and scale to Z0, so that should be fine. Now if I pop the curve back on, that is showing as internal instead of it. I'm sorry? ¿Qué pasa? Oh, I put it on the wrong side. Whoops. Yeah, no, that is correct. I just did it the wrong way around. So let's straight to around about here should be good. Let's now have a look at the reference image. Okay, that actually needs to be out a bit further from the looks of it. Actually, no, that is fine. Now if I go back to object mode, there we go. All this is happening before subdiv, so I don't see why it's breaking apart like that. However, what I can do is I believe it's merge for this. Yeah, there we go. Now I got something vaguely tile looking, chat. I have no idea what's happened to this though. Oh no, what did I do? Alright, what did I do? What did I do? What did I do? Oh shit, oh fuck. Okay, it looks fine from here. So why is it... We just had a tornado warning a couple of hours ago? Oh no. That's rough. Hopefully you're somewhere safe. Like, I know you're probably used to it at this point, having been where you are for quite a while, but that must be rough. So... Okay, that's doing some jank ass shit that it shouldn't be doing. Did I not... I applied the rotation scale. Did I need to apply the rotation scale on this one? Probably. Okay. Applied that, but it's not working. Now, why would this be distorting so horrendously? Yeah, it's gone past us now? Okay, that's good to hear. Let's try 9... Oh, sorry. 0.93. Gonna take a second to calculate what it's doing. Okay, so... I need to edit these until they're doing what I want them to. Let's go 0.9. So, like, the idea is I'm trying to... Is it because the merge value is on? Oh, it is because the merge value is on. So, looking at this... That is far too close. So if I go into edit mode... Yeah, okay, there needs to be a space in between these here, because it's literally just being on top of each other. So if I remove the curve modifier, I believe it is, and extrude this out in the Y, just a smidge. Make sure I get all of these. Okay, now if I turn the curve back on, go back into object mode, we should be just about right. Okay. So the rest of this is fine, it's just this connection point here. So all I have to do is just mess about with this until I find the right settings. I think probably 0.94 should be decent. The only issue is I think these are still too tightly packed together. Actually, yeah, it is the case that these are still too tightly packed together. Oh, interesting. This has to go on the negatives. That's a rarity. Certainly not something I was expecting. So if we go 0.95. Okay. It needs to be like really incremented in this case. So probably 0.955 for a start. Maybe even 0.45. 3. Okay, so 0.97. Okay, so it's definitely 0.945. Now all I have to do is just make this a bit more rounded here, and it will just look like an actual tire. So first I'm just going to grab this at the Z, just drag it a bit closer to the middle, and then add probably 3 loop cuts, or maybe 2 would be better. No, 3, because if I use 3, I can use the proportional editing to move this about and make it look a bit smoother. I'm gonna remove all of these modifiers here and just move this the way it is here. So turn on proportional. Make sure it's really small. Actually, I wonder if just doing one loop cut. X. And what I can do, chat, is I can control B to bevel this. And because it comes with subdivision surface modifier by default, if I turn the curve back on, so that already looks fine, but the second I chuck on subdiv, which the computer's going to complain about, see, that looks very much like a tire. Make sure the bevel's on. There we go. I do need to double check these to make sure I'm not accidentally weighting stuff that I shouldn't. Doesn't look like I am, though. So now all I really need to do is just do the internal rim, which is not difficult, because now I can just make like a generic circle and then attach the spokes for the thing directly to it. So I can do these and scale them down a bit. So let's front view. Okay. So we need to turn this Bezier circle around. Okay, let's not do that because good lord does it get salty when I do that. Okay, let's save an incremental of this and get rid of those two for the second. So I want to grab the both of these, I think. RZ and 90. Yeah, so grabbing them both at the same time allows me to just do that. So now I can see this from the front. I'm going to apply the scale to this. Now we're getting a bit closer. So maybe I want to make these here. So these bits going into this section just a smidge sharper, perhaps. Or maybe I want to move these out. I'll leave it for a second, because this isn't supposed to be the most intensive of models, so to speak. Alright, let's add in a circle here. Set this to... It's going to be fairly high, probably 20? 90... inwards. So I probably want to... Do I want to mirror this one specifically? Probably not. And the only reason for that is because a rim doesn't show on both sides of the tire, generally speaking. It's usually on the outside, and that's about it. Okay, scale that back up. And then Shift Y, Shift X, Shift Z. What do you want from me, Blender? So the thickness of this isn't actually awfully large. I'd say roughly around about there. However, this does indent into it a bit, so I'm just going to G them Y. Cool. So look at this. There is 6 that go around in a circle. Scale this a bit more. Now, I believe I do this. So Alt D Y. Because that isn't quite how it works, is it? Alright, what other options do I have for this particular method of stuff? Like, the other one I could think of is arraying around an empty. So if I find axes, just scale these down. And then Control P. So I do this. And I add an array to this. Okay, that does that. Do I need to array around an object? Object offset. X. Okay, no. Remove that for now. Like, I swear there was a way to force the thing to... So basically the idea is like, you would rotate the empty and the arrayed object would spread out around, like, and just... So I would have this one, rotate the empty, and it would make clones, basically, that go all the way around, in the way that I would want it to. But currently, it is not quite doing that for me. So... Do I need to array the empty? I don't think I would need to. So I'm just going to Alt D and then rotate along here. So, okay, that's vaguely what I would want. But the issue is, like, now even if I edit these and like they're all edited together, I can't move these into a better position. So, okay. Add an empty at the origin. Object won't duplicate. That is certainly not the way you do it. Relative offset. So... Okay, so if I shift A, add plane axis again, just really scale this down. I'm sorry. Okay, apply the scale, and then array this around the empty. Why is this? Okay, there we go. So I think I have to set the object origin of this to be further down. Yep. So it has to be like the very bottom of the object. So I need 6. I need the offset to be 0. Ouch. Sorry? Okay, now if I rotate this... Okay, good start. I think... Do I need the object origin to be... Set origin to 3D cursor. Okay, that offsets it, but not in the way that I'd want it to be. Now, why is that? That's because the middle of this isn't actually there. May not help in this case. Now, why would it be around there? Is the offset wrong? Okay, yeah, the offset was wrong, that's why. So now I need origin to be actually around the middle. If I set the object origin to be surface mass, set that all the way down to the bottom, and then just move the entire object across. Now, why would that not move the entire thing? I wonder. Because that moves it. But this should also... Why is this all the way... I'm sorry? Of course Blender would be like this, huh? Why is that? Oh, because subdiv is off. Oh, by the way, Cyclonic, I have good news. Oh, really? What's that? I always love hearing me some good news. So, it's that one's there, it's fixed. Why is that one fixed? Okay, let's just get rid of the way for a second. And see. Now turn the array back on. It's like in a really weird spot. Like, if I move it all the way over here, this is technically where it needs to be, but at the same time, like, the object itself is not in the correct position. So about a month ago, I received some paperwork to fill out from the business office for my medical bills. It was to see if I could apply for some financial assistance. I had my mom help me with it earlier this week, and she took me to the hospital to turn it in. A couple days passed, and I checked my email and got a letter from them saying I was approved for financial assistance. Finally, at long last, I am so happy for you, Foxy, that you finally managed to get that sorted out. Because that was a bunch of bullshit. Can't believe you had to go through so much bureaucracy for this. Although that's coming from the person who also went through considerable amounts of bureaucracy because of their eyeballs. They removed my payment plan and got rid of all the money that was due on my account, which was close to 2,000. So now I don't have to worry about paying them anymore. Nice. Alright. Okay, why is this? Because even if I move the both of these, I don't think it's going to work the way that I want it to. Actually, no, it should do. So, both of these. Ah, got you, little shit. Finally got this thing working. I just had to move both of them. Okay, so these definitely need to be moved about a bit because it's not anywhere close to what it should be. But it certainly could be worse. It's like it's almost a V or a U in this case. So I guess there must be some slanting to the main column like here as well. Yeah, but I'm so glad you finally managed to get that financial assistance thing done. Because I know that was going to be really eating at you, especially considering the fact that your work is refusing to pay you. Like, what the fuck is that about? Alright, so now I can edit these to better match here. So this probably needs to be moved in. I wonder if this would be better. I need a different movement type for this. I need, Okay, so fun little thing you can do with this is that you can actually, oh, you can't in this case. But, like, normally whenever you're messing around with stuff, you can actually choose the fall-off type, and you can actually make your own custom one. But it doesn't seem that Proportional Editing wants me to do that, which is unfortunate. Oh, hey, Foxy. Do you want something fun to mess about with when you're starting Blender? I'll just quickly show this off to you. They removed my payment... Oh, right, I've already, read all that. Oopsies. I don't know why my brain sometimes does that. I was honestly afraid they wouldn't approve me if they saw my past 3 months worth of payments, since, you know, I tend to buy a lot of stuff from Pokemon Go and Roblox. But I guess they saw how low my last paycheck was for and realized I'm not able to work to earn money. Yeah, it's like... It's a really rough thing, especially, like, if you're inclined towards buying stuff for yourself online. But I find a lot of the times, unless it's, like, egregious amounts, they're not going to ask too many questions. So these are the treads, this is the rim spoke. This empty is rim spoke empty. What's that, Cyclonic? Okay, so Metaballs are really funny. Hang on, I'll just quickly finish doing these. So this is the tread curve. And this is the rim couch. I think it's, yeah, it's just one. So I'm going to hide this collection so I can show you a bit better. If it will let me. Come on, yeah. So, there is an option in Blender in the add menu, and it's called Metaballs. So you add one, and you get this rather weird looking spherical thing right here. It works like pretty much just like a normal object, but it's got this weird circle around it. So if I add a second one into the scene, and like it's the same, but if you move them together, they start doing some weird stuff. And it's not just exclusive to these. So you can add, say, like a Metaball ellipsoid, and you can move them around, scale them, and what have you. So then you can attach to the front. And then suddenly you've got a funky looking thing. And these all just like move together. Looks like a peanut. It kind of does, doesn't it? But yeah, you can like scale these up. You can like move them around and whatnot as you need. And then you can just block out characters. So if I grab this in the Y, I need to move this one down a bit. Now it looks like a duck. Yeah, that's kind of what I was aiming for. So yeah, you can use Metaballs to basically just mess about with, but they're really good for like making character related stuff. They're mainly just really fun to mess around with. Unfortunately, you don't get to see them as often when you're doing actual character modeling, but they're fun. I don't want that. Help, I was typing out duck and typed fuck instead. Ah yes, the inverse of that old autocorrect problem. When you use fuck so many times that duck no longer applies here. Okay, let's sort this out. So if I grab these, I don't need proportional editing here. I don't think. Well, actually, I might do, but I'm not going to have it be nearly as large. Why is the proportional going from there and not the actual point that I was going to proportional edit from. Weird. Oh, it might be because of the array, actually. Thanks for getting that one, Foxy. It didn't even show up on my chat. It just showed the ban message. It didn't actually show whatever the hell they were saying. I'm assuming it's another bot, yeah? See, maybe? Whatever. So I'm gonna grab these ones. How about fuck off instead? Nice. Nice burn, Foxy. So those are like that. Probably these ones need to be moved out a bit. So that makes it a bit more bulky. And then this side also needs to be bulked out, but I'm going to only bulk out this section here. So from here to here. Yep. In fact, I might even only just grab it by this one here. Or would these, like, 3 of them be better? Possibly. So these actually need to form into a vaguely spherical bit at the end. So I do need to move these out a bit. Probably this one here. Okay, I can probably just increase the circle influence a bit here. The only problem is, of course, I'm not grabbing the entire thing. So if I move this along... Okay, it's working a bit better, but not quite where I want to be. So what I'm going to do, instead of worrying about that, is I'm actually going to duplicate this. I'm going to scale it until I have a relatively even centerpiece. And then I can fix up the outside from there. Also, how did I manage to move that all the way back? Shift Y. There we go. Make sure I shift Y so it doesn't just randomly go backwards for no reason. And scale that one. Oh wait, it's because proportional is still on. Why is that? Why is that doing that? It doesn't need to be doing that. Stop that. So that's definitely not centered, as I have discovered. Now, why is that not centered? Okay, certainly not that either. Probably doesn't need to. Actually, it might do. Maybe this much? Which would give me a better... Okay, scale Y. Okay, it doesn't look hexagonal in the traditional sense, but I can certainly work with this. So all of this actually needs to be pulled back a bit. And this needs to be only rotated in the Y. And yet somehow it's done this. I don't know how it's done this. Why is Blender like this? I couldn't tell you, chat. Okay, now I think I've done this correctly. Wait, where's the... Why is the emptied off centered? Okay. Blender is being a little shitling for no reason, apparently. So, what we're going to do is just Alt-G the pair of them, and then just decide on what to do with them. Alright, both of you. There we go. I'm going to grab you in the Y. Then... Because this is focused around there. So I'm going to pull this all the way up without the array modifier so I can actually see what I'm doing. So that's like that now. Now if I grab the origin point and set it to the 3D cursor, which should always be in the middle at this point anyway. I turn the array back on. Yeah, that does that now. Now the array... Actually, what I can do is I can apply the location. That doesn't really help here, does it? So is it this one that I need to apply the location on? Yep, it is. So now, that should be good. Hopefully there should be no more issues, Blender. Alright, time to edit this again. So now I can actually see what I'm doing. This actually probably is a little too much. So I need to do the movements of this just a little bit better. So yeah, that's a little bit more consistent. Now if I edit these. Round. And these ones as well actually need to be moving. This is like that. Now I do need to figure out how I'm going to sort these out so that these aren't very obviously flipping into each other. So I think the first thing I should do is move these ones around. well. Those into position. So it's like, it's still clipping in, but it's going to be a little less messy, for want of a better term. What I can do is I can actually move these around until stuff's no longer clipping. So if I grab this. As well. Or maybe do I... What I can do, instead of trying to force these into like connecting with each other properly, I can actually just smooth out all this, and I can actually probably just model the bottom section to be repeatable instead. So like, I could cut out where is it? This section here, like all of this, or most of it at least. And then I can just add in like a circle, or just use the pre-existing one to make the rest of this. And that'll probably make my life a lot easier, quite frankly. And SC0. Okay, something's gone on here. So if I turn off the array for a second here. It's because, it's not following normals. Okay. So if I grab this in the Z now. And then turn this back on. Okay, good start, good start. I wish I could just, like, snap to the specific geometry here. Can I do that? No. It won't let me do that. It seems a bit silly that I can't. I suppose it's to avoid problems more than anything else. And while that is respectful, it is slightly obnoxious for the fact that I can't brute force this into doing what I want it to now. I'm not quite fond of this, I'll be honest, chat. Because deleting this entire thing just makes it look weird now. So how would I go about... Because if I did this flat, it wouldn't work. It has to be curved like this in order for me to be able to see where I need to move everything to. Okay, edge sliding those seems to have worked out a bit. So that's like that. I can just move all these along. What if I just merged all this by distance? That's a start. Do these need to be sharp? Doesn't look like they do. I have no idea why I made these sharp. Could be a side effect of something else that I wasn't noticing at the time. If I do edge mode and first of all I need a clear sharp before removing the crease because I know I did both of those. Oh yeah, it looks a bit mushy without it. That's fine. What I can do is remove the crease on this and click the sharpness. So it kind of looks welded almost. So like these bottom ones probably don't need to be sharpened or creased anymore. Now what does need to be creased? I'm just like looking at this reference image. Also I just realized that this entire thing here X? No. Okay, so I've just realized like this edge here on the image is actually slightly further down than the other edge. So I'm gonna need to do something about that. But it seems like no matter what I do, it's not going to go in the position that I want it to. That's fine, brute forcing it's gonna be easy enough. What I have to do is subdiv from one here. Can I actually just edge slide this? I can actually. In fact, the easiest way would be just to edge slide the other edge. That should make it look like it's lower when it's really not. If I remove the crease on that, that just makes it rounded again. So I probably need to crease this one? Yeah. In fact, I think the entirety of this inside section here needs to be creased. Whether I really want it to or not. Because otherwise... Okay, that just looks janky anyway. Okay, let's just crease the entirety inside here. Oh, that's not even filled in correctly. What the hell? What have I done here? Oh, I've definitely done good here. All those are merged together. Oh, might as well keep going, I suppose. So, if I separate this out... How did this even happen? I wonder this thing was having troubles. Alright, time to remove the array while I figure out what the hell is going on here. So that's supposed to be the internal edge here. But somehow that got inset to also be... like that. So this is supposed to be creased. Might need an extra loop cut, to be honest. So yeah, like that directly connects into there, and it probably doesn't like that. So how would I go about fixing this? Because that one's actually quite the mindfuck now that I think about it. So if I... put that back into its original position. Put those there and move this back where it should be. I can then grab this entire thing and just edge slide along. Same with this one. And now I should be able to crease these two and not have any consequences. Okay, it's a little better. Why are these creased? They don't need to be creased. Stop that. Okay, that looks a little bit nicer. It's not perfect though. Like, this thing is still very much creased to high health. And if I try moving it, it's not really gonna help too much. I hope this one isn't moved around. If I move that and move this one here backward. Alright, put that back on. Okay, that is a lot nicer than it was. So yeah, a bit of extra geometry does go a long way. Now, I just need to figure out what I'm going to do with this lot. And... okay, accidentally grabbed the back one, that wasn't the intention. Well, that might be helpful here. If I move these two, might make it look a little bit better. I have to just move this entire lot down here. Not sure about that one, Chief. Let's just give it a quick movement in the Y. Oh, interesting. Maybe. But I think maybe this one will look better. Because, like, I've still got the inner rim wherever the hell it might be here. And wait, what the hell is this thing? So if this is rim outer, what... I'm sorry, do I just have two of these? Get out of here. Like scale. Rotation on both of those. So if I scale this up a bit. I think I probably want to add a solidify to this. And then I want to add a shade smooth to this one. Now this isn't going to work properly, but what I can do is I can inset this. And now it kind of looks helpful. Not really, but almost. It almost works. Now, something I've got to add to this. I need to grab this entire outer edge here. And then extrude this back. And this is going to be the inner rim of the tire. I need to extrude this and scale it in the non-Y axis. So roughly around about here. This might surprise a lot of people in chat, but my family worked quite a lot in tire shops back in the day. So this may be surprising, but I do have a vague idea of how tires work. So this one also needs to be solidified in a case. In fact, I might even just outright solidify this one from the get-go. Solidify. And then what I can do is I can just pull the thickness all the way back. Like that. All of a sudden we've got a rim going. Now, I am going to add a subdiv, but I'm only going to do not a shrink wrap. In fact, I can just control one on this. Add subdiv, but I'm only going to add one level. Because more than one is just completely unnecessary. There we go. I'll just apply the scale. And this is only going to be one. That's all that's necessary for this. And then the offset is fine. Scale that. Actually, no, that's fine. And then grab some of these faces here and just start moving them so they can form a bit better to the rim. Just grab these in this mode, make it so much easier on myself. And get rid of that one. And then I can scale these in the Y. Cool. I probably want to make this a bit shorter, actually. Okay, there we go. Got a tire, got some spokes. Just need to model the internals of this. Now, the internal spokes have a fairly simple design. It's just these here on like on every section except for the ones that these are directly touching. So if I grab this, forgot the shortcut for this. There we go. In fact, I think I want to... Selection pair not found. I forgot how to do the thing, chat. Let's just do every other set here. two and these two. Probably what I need to do is grab these ones as well. I want to inset them and then extrude them inwards. Inset, boundary, and extrude these inwards. So that's done a thing. So if I remove the solidify for a second here, extrude this in the Y, no, X. What the hell is this thing doing? There we go, grabbing the Y. Now I need to sharpen these. Actually, do I need to sharpen them? Possibly. So that's the solidify modifier. In fact, I wonder if it would be better if I just did the solidify modifier first and then tried extruding them inwards. And then maybe set this to like 0.2. Just then compare it to the spokes. Okay, let's do 0.03. Okay, that's too much. Let's add a 5 onto this. Alright, neat. So if I apply that, those. Well, to be fair, it looks like there's 6 on here, doesn't it? Okay, that's a little frustrating. I'll just do them on these then. But then, oh, it's uneven. Oh, I hate that, actually. Why is it so uneven? Okay. What if I rotated? I move that there. Okay, that's just gonna move the entire circle though, and it's not gonna look good anymore. That's the frustrating part. Outside of frustrating, my knee is cramping a bit. It's been sore since this morning. I accidentally Charlie horsed myself into waking up, and it's just been irritated ever since. I mean, that's what I get for sleeping like a goddamn pretzel, though. So I probably just need to change the rotation of this. Or even just G then X. And then that just removes them from there, and I don't want them to be moved from there. What an annoyance. I'd have to basically rotate the both of these. I wonder if I can see... Oh, what the fuck? Huh. Well, that's a problem I'm going to have to sort out after stream. I have no idea how the hell that happened, but I don't like it. Alright. So, if I set this to... Where's the easiest way to do this? Probably turning on the wireframe. Yeah. The problem is it's like still uneven though. Like if I move those along, like there's always gonna be something that's on an edge instead of a face. So this is just inherently uneven regardless. And honestly it tracked for a kid's toy. So I probably shouldn't be too concerned. Why are they all... Don't mind me, Chat. I'm just trying to figure out... Like... Joys of winter, I suppose, but like, what the fuck? I have no idea why, but like a bunch of ants just showed up. I need to find some way to fix this after stream. Bruh. Actually, you know what? I'll be back in a minute. Alright, I'm back, chat. I have no idea what that's about because I have literally no food in here, but for whatever reason, there's just a bunch of ants. Like, what the fuck? Okay, I'm gonna have to check the electrical sockets after I'm done with stream, because that is quite frankly absurd. Anyway, what the hell's that? Alright, this. Music's still going, right? Yeah, it is. I must just come back at a quiet moment. Okay, so that only produces 5 instead of 6. So how many of these are there? There is... It's not helpful. I want to select... Why is this showing... Oh, okay, it's 20 faces. I was like, why is it showing 60, but I was looking at the wrong thing? Must have gotten a bit frazzled. Do I need to maybe change this to 24 instead to make it divisible by 6? Like, properly divisible by 6, rather. I might do, actually. So, well, actually, no, I need to change this to 24 first. X and 90. So, all that now. Scale shift Y. And then smaller. Actually, I'll probably just scale out to around about here, perhaps. Okay, there we go. Now, if I grab all these and scale those, shift Y, and then grab this, and then shift E. There we go. Sorry, chat. Now, solidify modifier. And on scale, and then I said this originally was 0.25, right? Okay, that is way too much. I need to put the 2.5 here. Okay, and that's too thick now, so maybe just 0.2 is sufficient. Yeah. Alright, so... do I need to subdiv this? Not right this second. I need to do that though, and I need to shade smooth. There we go. Now, if I do this every... I thought there was something on my arm, but it's not. Okay, so now these should actually be aligned with... Okay, they're actually more or less even. It's just that these are going to be rather weird now. Okay, so that is 6. I think I do like this. So then, yeah, that's fine. Now I need to actually apply this modifier before I go and step out with anything. These. Actually, what I can do is I can just get rid of these inside ones because the external ones probably both need to be done. So Alt E and manifold. And then Alt S. Okay, not helpful here. Okay, so apparently just extruding them along manifold is not helpful here. Probably help if I wasn't doing them towards the 3D cursor. Alright, so it should be fine. I'm going to remove these. Make sure, actually those should be fine. In fact, I probably actually need to inset these. Very minimally, just enough that's not going to break everything. And scale Y. And then these ones, I can actually just edge slide them, I think. Very possibly. Actually, extrude. Scale Y. Just enough so those don't clip through. Okay, that looks alright. But the problem is, like, these are actually supposed to go into these here. So now I'm going to have to edit this again to account for that. Alright, let's get rid of this. How did I even remove them? Okay, you know what? I'm not even going to ask questions. Alright, so if I go back into this mode. What if I grab all of these and proportionally edit them to the correct position? Hey Likely, how you doing? I had a little conversation with Nightbot about being overly reactive on the emotes, so now you should be good to just fire them off as you please now. I hope. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to fast track streamer bot sooner than I thought. Hey, there you go. So I need to readjust these ones here. Probably the easiest way to fix this would be just to these back. Cool. Now should be a bit better. Okay, nice. Now, really, a lot of the detail from this is going to come from stuff like scratches and whatnot, so I'm not too worried about that at the moment. Do I need to do the... Not yet, actually. I still need to array one more thing. So I'm actually going to connect this directly to these because it is directly above the spokes where these little details are. Quickly, I just slide this back a bit. Actually, it's just these ones. Okay, that looks vaguely nicer. It's turning out to be a pretty impressive rim job. I mean, I should hope so, considering the amount of years that I've been spent looking at tires, be that at a tire shop or at just playing Need for Speed Carbon for so many years. X90. That should be fine. Actually, I should probably make the detail on that a bit smaller. Yeah, I think so. And probably get away with 8 on this one, maybe? Would 12 be better? I think 8 probably be better. Oh, good lord, what the hell did I do? There we go. Why? Front. Just keep scaling them in. Grab these. Now there's two above each. Back here and then shift D because these are the exact same size. In fact, I'll probably even just edit this first one first. I'll just edit one first and then just duplicate it to the other side. Try to scale the Y by accident. Grab these ones. And then just grab this back. Because they still need to be pretty flush with the tire. Oh, well, in that case, as a materials engineer, I have a few things to point out. Please, no. Please, I can't compete with somebody who studies these as a hyperfixation. Please have mercy. Alright, so along the Y. Now these, Also, I'd just like to point out that these are in fact tires based off of a kid's toy, as I realized earlier in the stream. Oh, the camera's doing the clipping thing. Where is the option? Here we go. A little bit closer. There we go. Shift Y. Set these. That seems to be... In fact, I'd probably even say that needs to be smaller. Not in the Y-axis, though. Is my hyperfixation and my job? Oh, so you work as a materials engineer? Neat. And then honestly, it must be great to have a hyperfixation as your job. Although, like, I suppose depending on how bad it is, taking your job home with you might be a bit of an issue, you know? For more than one reason, obviously. Okay, so... Shading's a bit weird on this, I just realised. It's not inverted, I know that much for a fact. Oh right, the subdiv is off, I forgot about that. I had it off because if I don't, my entire computer is just gonna start screaming at me. I don't need 2 levels of subdiv on this, do I? Realistically, no. I'm gonna say no on this one. Although the bevel could actually, Okay, that's not so bad. My severe burnout proves you right. I have been burnt out since the Obama administration. I'm gonna be real. Like, I feel that on a spiritual level. And then shades on this one. Probably just need to add a little bit to this. If I apply this one. And then I think probably I can just be able to run it actually, instead of trying to inset the entire face section. Oh, Blender doesn't like that. Okay. Let's focus on this for just a moment. And time to pull out my good old friend, the bevel modifier. We need to bevel before subdiv, maybe? Or after? Okay, definitely before in this case. I need to set this really low. I'm going to bevel on weight only. So if I bevel on everything, Blender is just going to get even more upset with me than it already is. And why? I'm currently sitting on 8 robotic arms that I can't even look at because they're at my workplace. Can't stand to even look at because they're at my workplace. That's rough. Oh, to be fair, working on robotic arms must be so cool. What have I done here? I have to keep in mind that this is sort of reversed here. There we go, now we're not going to see the inside of that. I'm going to edit the positions of these two down just a bit. Because I still need to take into account there's going to be an orange stripe running along here. This. That one though. There we go. I think this is too flat, possibly. Because, that's actually curved in a bit. And it's just because of the bevel modifier. I suppose if I wanted to fix this, I could just, you know. But if I do that in order to color it, I'm gonna have to do it for all of them. Actually, what I can do is 0.5. Actually, this is just 5 and minus. Okay, so that and 0.5. What's that? Might as well do it for the other side. So, I think I can remove these bevel weights now. Oops, did not mean to do that. So if I don't want that either, I wanted this one. So if I remove these, I should be able to... Okay. I think that's a bit too rounded and small, possibly. Actually, I think that looks fine. That's roughly what it looks like on the... They were a side project, 100% funded by me, but now I can't even give them away. That's rough. Like, you can't even find somebody who wants to take robotic arms. That's just really unfortunate. Like, I'm assuming you can't sell them because of, like, I assume they're company property. I could be wrong. You did say it was 100% funded by you, so I am probably wrong. I'm gonna turn the subdiv and bevels back on this. Now, I am having a problem with that. Is it just because the subdiv isn't on? Yes, it is. Okay, I'm gonna do this and just a moment. Now, I do need to sort that problem out. How would I fix this? I suppose the most obvious way would be to force this to be creased. I wonder if I can just force these to be... Yeah, I can. Probably do the same with this one and this one as well. There we go, that's a little bit better. I'm gonna do some shading on this, because modeling this is slowly driving me insane. Start with the rubber. So, anytime today. I have so many things to say about the topology I've seen so far. There's also a keep corners option within the subdiv modifier, by the way. Oh, thank you. I didn't realize. Also, I'm more or less a beginner at this. Please go easy on me. Can you revolve around axis for this? For the tire treads, possibly, but I feel like it'd be a bit messier than just using curves. Advanced. Keep corners. Alright, so I don't need to have that be creased anymore. Oh, good lord. Sorry, there's just a couple of technical issues today. I'm getting very sleepy. Better get off now before I fall asleep at the PC. Good night, Foxy. Have a good sleep. And get rid of that. And these ones as well. Right, gotten rid of all of them. Okay. If I keep all, is that going to fix the... Okay, it doesn't seem to want to keep corners in this case. Is there a different setting that I'm forgetting about here, chat? Or it might be because it needs to be a different order to the stack. If I pull them above array and curve, though, I get the distinct feeling I'm going to crash Blender doing that. Keep corners under boundary smooth. Ah, okay, thank you. Appreciate it. So if I keep boundaries here, is that going to break it again? No, good. Cool, thank you for that. I'm assuming your name is pronounced Akira. Very much appreciate it. But yeah, this topology really needs some work. I literally just subbed the plane and then messed about with it until it worked. Just trying to think, how would I fix this? Now that you've pointed it out, it's going to bother me for the rest of the evening. What is the least important topology set? Because I know some of those words and I trust you with my life. Yeah, I'm basically the same. As far as I can tell, most of these, at least in my case, serve a functional purpose, although that should not be like that. If I remove that though, that's going to cause problems. If I add more topology, I'm probably going to trigger chat. Actually, come to think, oh right, it's because the video's still on. Nice. So if I wanted to remove these, 5. So probably remove... So if I remove that line there, it's just going to mess up this here. Oh yeah, and there's Nightbot finally doing something I program it to. Finally figured out why that wasn't working last night. Is because the timer parameters were severely off. Move that. That should actually technically be fine. No, that would leave another unit gone. Damn it. Of course I'd back myself into a corner with topology like this. I'll have to have a look at it after stream because this is going to really irritate me after stream, and then I'll just go in and possibly fix it, possibly not. We'll have to see. Unless, of course, chat has any suggestions on me on how to fix that. And if you think the tire topology is bad, wait until I accidentally reveal the rim topology. In fact, I probably already have with the shading tab. Set this to... It's roughly the color that I want. Rubber tends to be fairly matte. So set to like 185 now. Higher up. Okay. Noise texture. Probably what I want to do is have some parts seem to be a little bit more worn through than others. I think if I was going to do that, I'd need to base it on the height. Also, I just realized that that's like that. Pull down the treads. Leave its an array as a merge option. Okay, that's a bit better. It's still a little dot in there, but I can ignore those as opposed to the lines. Now, in order to do this, I'd probably want to have the wear be on the actual treads themselves instead of the entire tire, even though looking at this image, the wear seems to be on the sides as well. So I think most of the outside is worn. So I wonder if I need to use a secondary texture to do wearing on the sides as well. Alright, I think if I look at the... It should be a object info. Alright, I don't think this is how... I have some concerns about the integrity of those bead locks. Okay, Google, what the hell is that? Secures the bead of the tire to the wheel of the vehicle. There's a lot of trots out there, tutorials out there for edge wear and whatnot. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I just want the rubber to look vaguely like rubber instead of, you know, plastic. Now, I probably need to take this one, set object now, because I am not going through the trouble of UV unwrapping this at the moment. That I can scale this down. I feel like there's a way to get the height for these treads as opposed to... There is a way, I just need to remember... So I've done this before with doing UV maps. It is geometry nodes. Now if I plug the pointiness into here, Although now that I think about it, doesn't this require a... How recently did you start working with Blender? That one... Okay, I'm gonna say this one's up for debate because technically it hasn't been 2 years yet. But because of the whole eyesight issue that I'm prone to, it's probably closer to maybe a year if I'm lucky. So, like, in the grand scheme of things, Blender related, not that long. Also, the merge is breaking, as I just realized. Let's, make some tolerances of this just a smidge. So, say 0, 1. Because it's going to be directly on top of each other. Yeah. Like, the only reason I know about the whole pointiness thing is because I've done tutorials before. That's about it. Maybe not in this case. So yeah, get RAM since I deleted it like an idiot. Obviously, that's not going to be highly accurate. It's mostly made of dots, obviously, so we want to add in a bump node. Yeah, it's a little embarrassing when somebody who actually knows what they're doing shows up in stream and just sees whatever abomination is going on here. Like, I am so sorry you have to witness this. And again, just look this through. Yeah. Okay, so if I make this... roughness isn't better. So obviously like I can do that, but it probably needs to be a little bit more random than that. Probably like 0.5 in this case. Does it need to be smaller? Probably. That. Okay, yeah, that needs to be considerably smaller, and the strength needs to be dialed way down. Thanks. Okay, that is way too bumpy. Strength probably needs to come down a bit more. Okay, that's not awful, I don't think. So it's just getting the wear on the tires right. I'll probably have to take these two and put them in a mix node. But then comes the inherent issue, like I'm pretty sure that when tires wear through they get slightly more shiny. So I don't know if I also want to plug this into a... Probably coat would be inappropriate here, maybe sheen. Make these blobs a bit bigger. Like much bigger. Or maybe smudge darker. And I'm probably just gonna, yep, mess about with this until I find something that works. Probably want something with minimal amounts of wear on the treads themselves, but just a bit more wear on the sides. I don't exactly want to do 50 billion materials for this because my computer has made it blatantly obvious how much it hates that. Actually, I thought I turned on Simplify last time. Did it not go through? It would very well be possible. So, move forward, move these backwards. Now, I believe what I want to do is or actually maybe would darken be better? We'll see. So if I go through this now, yeah, it looks like these are worn through. I don't like how that looks though. Not much I can do about that the second though. What's the bump looking like? Very minimal. If I mix these, it's just going to that multiply maybe. Could work. If I set that back to that. The problem with this is I'm uncertain if this is poking outwards or if it's going inwards in the case of the noise texture. Okay, it certainly looks like it's going out a bit further. So I wonder if I need to invert this. That does not look like it's doing a whole bunch of anything. really need to do is blacken this, possibly. I want this to be actually smooth. So by going here now, I think that's smoothened out. Probably not in the direction that I'd want to be in, but... Actually, no, I think that is correct. I don't want to keep second guessing myself like this. It's probably unhealthy. And material. Actually, this probably needs to be the orange metal material, and the other one needs to be one. This is actually black colored, not grey like I initially thought it was. This now the roughness on this is fairly high from the looks of it. Yeah, because it's not really reflecting all too much. It is quite clearly metal though. I'm going to say 0.7 on this one. And then, so that's not there. Now the orange strip is a more painted metallic finish. Where, like, the black one looks like it's been liqueured, the orange one just looks like it's been painted. So I'll set 0.7 on this one, and for the internal... We're going to give it a coat. It's probably too much of a coat though. That's still way too much. Try 0.2. Just enough to be there, but not enough to be basically reflecting everything in the scene. Right, now the bead locks are supposed to be of a darker metal variety, a more matte metal variety, if you will. So get these two, assign that. And first slot's just going to be the black metal. And then the second slot is going to be black metal, but with a different setup. Come to think of it, this metal should not be nearly as dark as it is. Like, it's supposed to be dark, but not pitch black. And these have no coat to them whatsoever. I'd say the roughness on these are a bit higher. 8. Quite frankly, I really could have just changed to something else. Like, there are so many other projects in this list that would have been considerably easier than Attire, but quite frankly, I just don't know when to quit. And I can promise you, chat, that is not a good thing. do anything with the subdiv. I was going to check it against how it looks with the subdiv, but my computer's probably going to start crying if I do that. I'm not going to do it. And I just realized that this needs to be... Like, there's actually a middle section to this. We're closer to the back more than anything else. Actually, can do this one. Y, and that is more or less just a rounded bit in the middle. It's just this bit in the middle here, which I assume slots onto the axle. Well, at least I should hope so. That's how fucking wheel works, like, on a good lord. Out. That's just like that. These ones I don't need actually. I don't even know why I've got so many. Those. That's a little bit better. And black that as well. I'm not entirely convinced that I like the metal material on this. So I'm just looking at this and it has a whole bunch of bump to it as well. If I pull this up, there's a huge amount of what is I essentially call noise on this. And I know for a fact that this isn't like the regular grind that you get out and like riding around on these sorts of things. That is definitely the original metal texture. So that means I have to go in with the Voronoi again. Alright. But thankfully, this one does seem to be... The bump seems to be a lot larger here. Object. And scale this all the way down. Color ramp. So these are quite strong. So I'm gonna move this along a bit, if it will let me. Right. I'm gonna remove the coat on this entirely because I think it's probably unnecessary in this case. Even more so. This needs to be a more silvery grey if I'm going to be doing this texture. In fact, this even leans slightly towards blue. Right, so these two just push them close together. And down it. Bad, but things need to be scaled up quite a bit slowly. Okay, now we're getting somewhere with this. I wouldn't say it's a good place, but it's somewhere. Now this... I want to make this slightly more bumpy. Probably 0.15. Not that the texture is vaguely visible. And then these ones here. So I need to remove. Oh right, I can't remove that edit mode, I'm dumb. Remove that. And make a copy of this, but edit it just slightly enough so that these bead locks end up a different color. I don't know why my brain was blue screening over that sentence. Okay, assign that. Middle and copy of it. Make this slightly darker. And then probably remove the bump entirely. Because it doesn't seem that there is much bump texture to this. Okay, it's certainly not as bad as it was earlier. Question is, how do I weld these to the frame, basically? Like, I could do it with the cup, but given the comments about the topology earlier, I'm probably not going to risk it right this moment. In fact, I'm going to go back to layout mode, see if there's anything I can do about it. And just turn off the array for now. Actually, the array can stay on. It's just whenever something's in edit mode, it needs to be turned off. Honestly, this one could probably go. But again, it's just like the problem is if I remove any of these, I'm just going to start creating n-gons. So I have to be rather conservative of what I end up throwing away and what I keep. Like, I could get rid of these, but the problem is I no longer have access to this here. Not to mention all the other things that apparently happen when I do that. I'm just gonna start getting rid of some of this stuff. Alright, this needs to be... probably removed here. I need to do something about this though. Okay, just this stuff. Like, the most obvious ones is fixing these down here. It's like, I'm seeing all this geometry and not a lot of ways to fix it. Like, I can just remove this one here and that one and join these two, but then that just creates an n-gon here, which I don't want. Obviously, there's triangles around here, but those don't matter nearly as much as the n-gons that would literally just break this entire thing if I kept them. Like, one of the more blatantly obvious ones are these, which I could absolutely get rid of. Alright, I'm gonna save an increment here and start trying to fix this. That does that. Yeah, so like the more I remove these, more n-gons I'm creating. This is a little bit obnoxious. It's just getting rid of all this stuff here. Even if I remove these, it starts causing issues because I need to find a way to basically merge these all down. Also, I just realized that's still an n-gon. So if I join these together, that does technically work in this case. Alright, so those can be removed now. Those become tries. But even if I did something about that, it's still... Actually, no, I can just use this. Do that. That does work a little bit better. However, this does. Can we just edge slide these until they have a correct position? Point. Alright, what else can I do? Oh, still reasonably close. This up here could probably do with some removal of geometry. Problem is that there is going to be points. Obviously, I still need to deal with whatever the hell's going on here. Just remove these from both sides for now. So if I removed all of these and I just made it one line across here, it might work. Possibly. Like I could probably even force that to go here. But I'm not sure how well they can do it in this case. I suppose I can give it a try. So, actually I can just edge slide it and then like that. But then if I remove these, nothing really all that helpful. This is all technically potted, but there's not much I can do about that. Also, I just realized that it's almost been 3 hours and I haven't fed the dog yet. Whoops. Alright, I guess I'll be ending off the stream here. It looks like I'm gonna be frustratedly trying to fix a tire for the next 3 hours. But I'm sure I'll be fine. Anyway, do I have anyone to raid? Anyone at all? Nope, looks like it is Korean streamer hours. And I don't think anyone in chat understands Korean, so I'm just going to end off the stream like this. Tomorrow I'll probably be still working on this. If I'm lucky, maybe I'll end up with another randomly selected good stream. Thanks, likely. Might be able to end up with a different object tomorrow, we'll see. Yeah, I think that's about it. I shall see y'all tomorrow.